fact, I am muting you on my side so the podcast should be clean. I don't want to hear it. Are you tired of being awesome alone? So are we. So we decided to join forces tonight with Wise and Nerdy. Let's go be wise and nerdy together.
This is Wise and Nerdy, where fatherhood meets fandom.
Oh, the entire crew, including Force Ghost Kurt, is back with us tonight. Oh, we had such a great time at Dragon Con, and we decided to bring in some friends and all talk about it. So because I'm a co-host on this show and a co-host on Be Awesome Together, we just mashed it all up. And then decided to bring our new house elf intern, Devocite. So, Bakute is here.
Valencia.
Oh, I guess I should unmute you.
I'm waiting for my sock.
I thought I was missing a few after you left here, but sure. Hello, Valencia. Welcome in. And now, Joe, before we get to the question of the week that you so painstakingly etched into stone and sent over by courier, and I appreciate that about you. It's awesome. First off, Random Kid asked, now that Dragon Con is over, are we getting Charles and Joe together more regularly? God
Not
forbid,
next week.
No. Next week he is gone. We've gotten used to this every other sleeping in separate beds thing. It's awesome. It's so good.
Yeah,
sorry, kiddo. The separation's final.
Stop it. Get some help.
No, yeah, okay. So Joe's going to the beach next week, and then after that, yeah, it should be fairly straightforward. There's an October trip coming that I might be out of. Who knows? But yeah, so let me introduce you to the people if you don't know. Over here next to Joe, ready to smack him, is Tyra Burton.
Hi. I have a problem. My dog unplugged my computer.
No.
No.
So we can see how this night's going, but I have husband to the rescue.
And I noticed that you still have the curtain behind you. So shelf watch from Be Awesome Together. What's going on with the shelf watch?
We are a step closer to possibly having a different shelf, but not anytime soon. We got rid of all the extra furniture, so now we can get the guest room done and the stuff out of my office that then will make it so we can get to the shelf so that we can replace the shelf.
And
so
then,
no, not happening today. Good
well,
time.
it does look like your house touches Devo's house. You have that same curtain. You're just on the
We're on the other
side.
side, actually.
Yeah. So.
I have her shelf over here, actually, but when she's done, I'll.
If you
pass
lived
it
closer,
through.
I would be using you, sir.
I would have probably come over, but we had some things to do, so unfortunately,
Yeah, he came to my house instead.
I did.
I know.
Yeah,
That was poor
okay.
judgment on his part.
Tell everybody why Devo came and did a sleepover.
Well, so apparently my car is allergic to Atlanta, and so it died again, and actually is still in Atlanta. I'll be picking it up tomorrow and dropping it off at Charles's house. but yeah, so more
Joe,
car problems.
How old is this car?
19 years old.
How many miles does it have on it?
156.
Yeah, good times.
Hey, I had a car.
Wait,
to
that's
40.
There's no way it has 156,000 miles and it's 20 years old. That's on like the first engine, maybe.
Yeah,
20 years.
I work from home. I don't drive. It has 156,000 miles.
I think you don't drive because the car breaks down every time you go past 5 miles.
That's fair. but yeah, it has 156,000 miles on it.
So Popcorn Ard says the kids love Devo. Of course they did.
Yeah,
Everybody loves Devo. I've got a story to tell from the con about how everybody loves Devo.
My grandmother, one time I was talking about something and she said, "You're just like your grandfather. Children and animals love you." And so that makes sense. So my grandfather was not an animal person, but she said, we go someplace and all the animals love him. He's like,
Joe, Joe,
I like animals and kids.
I'm good for you. I'm glad there's somebody in this world that likes animals.
Let's
Hey, I
not.
really like
We're
Steven
not.
Adams. I think we really got along really well. So
yeah. Look, Steven Adams is the American Dalai Lama, man. No,
He's so
great.
sweet.
We
I
all
love
just
him.
respect what he says and we embrace him. Joe, in our agreement that we have for Wise and Nerdy, there's only one stipulation in that contract. Kelsey is to have her popcorn. Otherwise, I get fired. I like being on this show, Joe. You better make sure your wife gets taken care of, sir. She says she has no popcorn.
So I guess bye.
Oh wait, we did bring her something though. It was kind of popcorn like.
Now what'd be hilarious if I
true.
snuck up to Chattanooga today just to mess with Joe, come down in the basement and push him over and take over his chair. I could do that.
Yeah, that's true. On the way home, we did pick up something similar to popcorn.
What did you pick up?
I went to Buc-ee's for the first time.
Mine too.
That was your first time?
Yeah, I got some beaver nuggets and a brisket sandwich. Good stuff.
Love it.
Yeah, the beaver nuggets are tasty.
It's a okay. I do think here's the controversial statement of the evening. Okay, I do think that Buc-ee's is overrated. However, no, I mean, you understand. I have people around me that live. It's too. It's on the way to Joe's house, so it's about 2 hours away ish from my house to get there. People will go there to Christmas shop. It's still a gas station. It's the Walmart of gas stations. Beautiful bathrooms, best bathrooms in the world.
Best bathrooms.
You will never find a full pump because there will at least be 2 or 3 empty. They got tons of fuel pumps. I like their jerky. There's some greatness to it, but to worship it so much to wear the onesie stuff to Dragon Con and to go Christmas shopping at it,
those were
I just think it's a little overrated. That's all.
I saw a mashup cosplay of someone who was a mashup of Winter Soldier, Bucky, and Buc-ee's. So they had
okay, that's fun.
So clever.
That's funny.
They had the Buc-ee's colors, and instead of the star on the metal arm, they had the Buc-ee's logo, and yeah, it was.
I'll give you that. Okay, so Joe, question of the week. Rock and roll, sir.
The question of the week is, what is your favorite thing about conventions?
Ooh.
And while y'all think about that, we do have a call-in from KCJ. So let's see what he has to say.
G'day, Dad. It's Casey here. What's my favorite thing about conventions? It's simply that you are surrounded by people who will let you info dump. That being autistic, it's so easy to obsess over something. And if you have somebody who's completely dressed like your favorite character and willing to let you talk about the intricacies about Avatar or Pokemon, whatever it is, that is the most amazing feeling. The complete inclusion of a convention. I used to go to a lot of anime conventions when I was younger, and honestly, it was the best feeling ever. Everywhere you looked, there was characters you knew and people willing to talk to you about these characters. Just don't encounter that in your day-to-day life. So that for me is the best thing about cons.
Oh yeah,
I love it.
That is spot on. My wife put in the chat. Apparently, my middle child Bob wants to. He's never been to a convention, but he says the cosplay. The cosplay is the best part of conventions.
All right.
So.
I cannot disagree. There's definitely, man, some fantastic cosplay.
Amazing detail too. Just and clever. Just like Bucky, right?
Yep.
For me, I think the favorite part is the performance and the feedback from the performance. I've been building a game show for a couple of years, playing the other cons, and brought it to Dragon Con for the first time this year. And not only did it have a great room and we had great response, I had people come up afterwards talking about the game show and talking to me about it and wanting to get the little pins that I had made for the prizes. And I love that part. I've been trying to get to that step for a decade now, I guess, and finally landed, and it was so good. And Tyra, we had 102 people playing that game. It broke the game because there's only 20 people on the board, And the most I've ever played was with 30. So normally you see names flip out. Joe did me a solid and flipped out some names so we could show up. But yeah, it is a whole different beast when you've got 100 people playing. It was crazy.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun.
Especially the round 2. We didn't get to see the twist in round 2 for a couple of rounds into round 2, a couple of turns. So
yeah. Joe, we'll keep telling our own favorite stuff and we'll come back to it. So John and Joe, Tyra, what you got? Favorite thing about con?
Tyra's a little confused.
Like,
who's this John that you're talking about? For me, it's just the interactions and seeing people that, for the most part, I don't see except at Dragon Con or at other conventions. Like Tyra, I see Tyra a few times a year at various conventions, and that's always a lovely interaction. And just I get to see my people. And so that's a ton of fun. And like just the spontaneous interactions as well. Like, for instance, I was in the volunteer village and just relaxing, and one of the other volunteers came over and sat next to me, and we got to talking. She was a volunteer for the space track, and so I got to hear some of the different things that she really liked about being a volunteer on the space track, and just, you know, different interactions that may or may not have anything to do with the actual panels that are going on, but it's a ton of fun.
All right, Tyra.
Well, I would say that for Dragon Con, it's just different. Dragon Con is home. It's like coming home. It is. I was just writing about this today. It's the place where you're not different. You're surrounded by family, and it's just beautiful. And the diversity and the acceptance that we have within that family is amazing. And it's been something that I've watched grow for 37 years or 38 years, and it's amazing to me. Cons in general, I just love because you get to see your peeps and geek out about stuff that, like your caller said, could make other people stare at you strangely.
I mean, you've got to be really out there to have heads turned at Dragon Con.
Yeah. Most of the head turning is because it's amazing cosplay. Something cool.
Yeah, no, by head turning I meant like disapprovingly. Yeah.
But we have all levels of cosplay too. I mean, we have some amazing stuff, and then some people that are just dipping their toes in, and everybody is supportive of both sides of that. And I think it's a beautiful thing.
I think the most judgment that I hear at cons is usually the people who are there at like 10 p.m. with a toddler in tow who is clearly overtired, overstimulated. I think that's the biggest amount of judgment that I see at conventions is in that regard.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily disagree with them either.
I don't disagree with them.
No. That's a little on the selfish side. I mean, I understand, but
yeah.
There's a time and a place, and it's called before 10 o'clock.
Yep.
I'll say, Tyra, to that point of the judging the cosplay or whatever, the first year, might have been the second year actually, I went to pick up my ticket, and I was a little judgy because quite literally all the guy did was glue a Pokemon ball to the brim of a plain hat, and scratch was a Sharpie Pokemon on the hat, and that was it. I was like, come on, man. I put on regular clothes, I look better cosplay. And so but
he's
not
trying. He's
not
trying. Maybe that is as much out of their
troll,
comfort zone they could get.
You know what? Maybe. And so, Devocite. What was your favorite thing? Okay, first off, I would think that you've been to other conventions before this one.
I have.
So, okay,
all
in
technical.
general,
Yeah, a lot of technical stuff.
So no sci-fi fandom conventions.
No, not really.
I
mean, well, maybe.
Goodbye, Cherry.
Ooh, well, I have to say, kind of what you were saying about Tyra, about where it was like, coming home. And there was also something said I heard in the convention or in the vendor hall, is they were talking about someone who had played a role in like wearing that costume out in public, and this was back in the 80s or 90s. And with the change in perception and the more, I guess you'd say, geek culture bubbling up and becoming more prevalent, that they're now excited to wear that out, and people are, oh, that's really neat. And so it's things like this that, a nerdy little boy with his comic books and watching Star Trek and reading, sci-fi. Now it's like, hey, that's kind of cool. If I, years ago, if I'd said, oh yeah, listen, I read Asimov.
Oh, me too.
Who? Now it's like, oh yeah, Asimov, yeah. And so it's pretty common. I would say that also it kind of I can kind of see this turning into like to an extent, almost like his own little family reunion at times. You get to go because sometimes people don't see but once a year, as you just pointed out. And when you said that, it kind of resonated. So coming back and saying all of you, and not that we don't stay in contact. It's just there's something about that face to face, right?
Yeah.
And I think was really neat. And above all of it, being in the track and working with Joe, Vito, Elaine, Cricket, so forth, you guys, wow. I mean, that was John. I hate to leave anybody out because it was really fantastic. I think Charles is having a seizure over there.
Just leave it, Joe. Me and Joe had the same thing going on in our heads. It's fine. We've worked together for years. We got it. It's good.
I saw the look on your face. I knew exactly what you were thinking.
God, this was your first year at Dragon Con, and you came as a volunteer. Mm-hmm. And that's obviously what we've asked you here today, is to share your experiences as a first timer. And then, of course, Tyra is here to talk about being on there for a while. And you did a number of other tracks to the point that for the first time ever, I didn't see you very often. And then, of course, we did our show together. We'll talk about all that. And then, Joe, you took on some more responsibilities and did more panels than I think you've done in the past.
Yeah.
So this is kind of where we're going tonight. So let's get the first timer. John, Diva, dang it. I don't know why. I'm so stuck on that. I knew you as Devocite for years, and then somehow that 4-letter word. I guess it's my love of 4-letter words, I guess. And Devocite.
Well, Devo's a 4-letter word too. Yeah. Yes, Tyra.
It's a 4-letter word too. Because I have a notebook and I keep saying, what do we call you on here? Devocite or John? Which would you prefer?
Well, I usually go by Devo. I mean, at the con, everyone was calling me Devo. So
okay.
Everyone was calling him Devo, right, Charles?
Oh yes, and I just became friends with everyone. So
yeah. So
I made lots of friends.
It's never bad. It's not a bad thing.
Not bad.
It just surprised the crap out of me is all. Is that Devo comes in and he's working on the internet stuff for me, and I contact Tyra, to my friend, who also is the IT director for Dragon Con, V, as we call him.
V.
And I was like, hey, man, this is going on. And I called him out, and he's like, hold on. Devo was actually like a specialist. Like, I got you, man. I got you. So I handed my phone to Devo. We did a group text later. Didn't y'all guys run into each other at coffee?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, no, he actually came in. He came into the room, and we talked for shortly.
V's great.
And so I was like, cool, first year, made a good impression, whatever, this, that, and other. Now, I've been doing this for 10 years. And I'm still a little surprised when I get stopped by somebody who knows my name. Sometimes I don't recognize their face. Because if I interact with you, I'll at least recognize your face a little bit. We're at the end of the con. Keep in mind, Tech Ops has 250, 300 volunteers. And you almost never see, except for the Colonel, who runs the Hilton, I almost never see the same person unless they're a room lead. Like if we go to Crystal, I think this year was Brad. Last year was I don't remember the names. I only remember Brad because freaking Phil yelled at me about it because I was like, yeah, the guy who was running the room is like, his name is Brad Charles. I don't know if it's Brad. He could have just made that up. But yeah, you see this. That's the only time you see the same people. So 2 new techs that were not in the room when we set up, had not come to the room while I was there, came into the room. Now we have John O'Connell on our team, and that's Cos's husband, and he will always be known as Cos's husband for us.
We're sorry, John.
Yeah. But he did 6-8 years in tech ops. So I imagine being in the department, known more. And he does not like to sit around and wait. So everybody's rolling cables and stacking things. We had the room practically stripped and piled neatly by the time tech ops walks in. So they're confused, like, wait, is all this stuff your stuff? Because skeptic track, sometimes that happens. We bring everything in, don't worry about it. It's like, no, that's John over there. And I'm pointing to John O'Connell. So that's John over there. He's, and before he would finish, like, oh, you mean Devo? How do you know Devo? I mean, what? And he's like, hey, word spreads. I'm like, what word? What did you do?
I pride myself being that guy.
Well, yeah.
Check.
Yep. I mean, that's my new experience with Devo. So what was your overall, I mean, you can start telling stories, however you want to do. What was your, I'll ask you, what did you think Dragon Con was going to be versus what you experienced?
Well, okay, so you guys really did build it up well. So there's a lot of explanations. You guys have told lots of stories over the years. My level of FOMO had reached the point I had to come. And it pretty much it really did live up to the, I don't want to say hype, but the stories above and beyond, really. I mean, once I got out walking around, the scope and size and the things going on, all the events, I mean, some of those events, people, I mean, literally wrapped around the building. I wasn't my thing really offhand. I actually really liked hanging out in our area. We really had some good tracks. We had some really good people, and that was a lot of fun. And it was really good just getting to talk to people, talk with Joe, talk with John, talk with Vito. I mean, Elaine, Tyra, when she would, sit still. And
yeah, I think Tyra, you're probably getting more steps this year than in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Oh my God, so many steps.
Yeah, and I would go and ask other track people and just say, "What are you doing?" And we would just sort of, the Brit track people and the Star Trek people had some weird feud going on, and that was. I'm like,
oh yeah, okay. They see the Dalek over there.
Yeah, they're putting tea in one room, and I don't know. But I don't know. Oh yeah, and so Joe, to Joe's point, the volunteers, just talking to volunteers, other volunteers, that was fascinating because one guy I ran into, he is the media director for the Harlem Globetrotters. He's a volunteer.
Oh. Wow.
And he comes and he's a volunteer, but his full-time job is the media director. And
that's cool.
That was really cool. And I always enjoy, and Joe and I kind of talked about it, I see these guys and I'm always curious about, hey, your camera, what kind of camera do you have? And how do you use it and stuff? Boom, went right into it. It's kind of like a little club, the camera nerd club, subreddit.
On other shows we can say what it's called, but not this show.
Yeah,
John knows what it's called.
So I really do. I mean, that's something that I always like talking to guys about, and folks. I mean, there's women too. I mean, but it's just really a fantastic drivers. Yeah, it was great.
So Tyra, we'll just keep going down the line here.
Okay, I have power again. I'm very excited.
Did you power? Oh, your computer, yeah.
Yeah, my husband saved the day. What am I doing? My favorite part of Dragon Con this time?
Yeah.
These are a few of our favorite things.
Few of my favorite things. I would like to say that going from the Hilton to the Hyatt is not easy.
Yes.
And it's not easy when the shortcut only has 1 out of 3 elevators working.
Ooh.
I literally jogged. I do not jog. This is not a jogging body. I jogged that breezeway from the parking deck halfway to the food court, trying to make up time. And I had to go to the loo before I could get to my next panel, which was corralling 6 smut riders.
What kind of riders?
What kind of riders?
Yes.
You said mud?
No, that's not what I said.
Oh,
Smut.
Oh.
It was a panel on how to write spicy.
I was like mud rider. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah. Okay, I got it.
It was a panel on how to write spicy, and I was the moderator, and they were all very excited when I walked into the room with 2 minutes to spare.
Yeah,
but you made it.
I did, and I had a blast. And I've never said the word sex so many times in an hour in my entire life.
That's 6 for Bob.
Yes.
Like 5, 6, 7. I know.
5, 6, 7. And there's so many innuendos. I never knew were innuendos until you're on a panel corralling 6 writers. Yes. And the oldest was definitely the most unhinged. It was awesome.
So now I do understand that you can handle the spicy. I find it funny because you are the Tinkerbell of our collective. and when you write fantasy, it's cozy fantasy, which Joe got introduced to at some con earlier this year. Found it interesting. And then I just, to me, it was just because I know you're a strong moderator. I'm not sure how you got picked for that, but to have the cozy writer Tinkerbell do the spicy writer panel as a moderator, how hard? How much chaos did you surf?
Cozy can be spicy. There's no
Okay. I made assumptions.
It doesn't have a lot of violence is usually what cozy does not have.
Okay.
But what I would say is you have not read my sci-fi romance.
I have not read anybody's sci-fi romance.
I had a feeling. So it's not too far out of my wheelhouse, shall we say. But what was interesting was we had all different kinds of portrayal of that particular topic on this panel. All 6 of these writers wrote different kinds of variations of 6, shall we say. And I have no idea why Vanessa picked me, but she told me I was awesome afterwards. And so I fear I will be doing it again.
Hey, you should recommend Charles. He really likes...
Oh, yeah. No, I should invite him. Though I will say this. They do not come with visuals like the hissing and kissing girls do.
Those guys are...
It was something else for sure. Not
Unhinged.
For kids.
Just take off my glasses and
it's so But all right.
Yeah, no, I would do it again. I probably will have to.
And that's the same director. She does the podcast track at Multiverse, I think. No,
she
not
is
the same?
a program director at Multiverse now. She used to do the writing track.
Okay,
at
but
Multiverse.
it's the person I'm thinking of.
Yes, it's Vanessa.
Gotcha. Okay. You're right. The podcast is somebody else, but yes, that's the same person I'm thinking of. Cool.
Yeah. So I should have and I got my Multiverse schedule because those writers, they can hook you up really fast.
I don't have anything but the Learn Track, I guess, because I haven't had any other emails.
Well, it wasn't an email. I just cornered her.
Oh,
we're an incestuous group, us.
Tyra, how many tracks were you on this year?
I was on 3 because I did one on the film track too. I did 2, moderated 2 panels on writing. Was on one with film, and then all the other 6 were on ours.
So what was the one with film about?
I was just asked the same question. I'm kind of curious. I didn't make any of those.
It was about social media and how you can use social media to grow your audience.
Okay.
So it was interesting. Jeff Elo, who has been on our panel before, was there.
Yeah.
And then 2 other guys. Excuse
hello.
me. Do not.
It's
the cat is now trying to unplug me. I'm like
tech ops, tech cap,
tech cats for sure. It was interesting. I did not know the Brian and Chris that were on there, but they were obviously people who other people knew because they had a lot of fanboys there. And it was interesting. There was a devotee of Linktree. I thought I could hear Charles in him. But he pretty much was like, you don't need anything else but Linktree. And I'm like going behind him going, almost. You need one website. You need just one. You don't have to have 10, but you need one website. And then he'd come back and say, no, you just need a link. I'm like, hi, my name is Tyra Burton, and I would just like to say you need a freaking website, sir.
Oh, I know the Brian and Chris.
Yes, that was them.
Oh.
They're sweet. But Brian was great.
So Brian Brushwood came from Frog Pants era, and he does a lot of magic, and the Rogues Modern Rogue is YouTube series that he built, and he was working on a TV series. And then Chris Gore has been around since the early days of podcasting, doing movie stuff. Chris is an interesting cat. Yeah,
he's
that's a good
special.
way to put it. Yeah.
He loves Linktree.
Yeah, that tracks.
And part of it is because somebody else is running his stuff. That's we had that conversation. But Brian was actually really good about making sure I got a chance to speak, because I was on a panel as all men.
He's such a gentleman.
And he would make he was really good about it, because not everybody, like, you should do that with not just women, but with everybody. You want to make sure everybody on the panel gets a say. And if I'm on a panel and somebody's not talking and they're being cut off, I'm still going to segue to them in some way. And he was super good about that with me.
And then Valencia also says that she enjoyed the Awesome Women in Digital Media panel.
I did too. It was fun. It was definitely fun, and I got a lot out of it. I got to meet our station Boo, Shannon. She was delightful, and Ash says hi. I got to meet her, who I hadn't before, and it was great. It was the day after a swan named Emily. They had raised so much money at Ludo Crew.
1603.
Yep.
Yes. And of course, this is my first year of actually knowing what Ludo Crew is, because I'm oblivious.
So was I.
Woohoo! No idea.
2 years ago, yeah.
Lude, I get it now.
Yeah.
Didn't then. But and Comfort Love, who I'd never met before, but was very big in comic books and inclusivity there. And so it was a really great, diverse panel of women.
That's cool. I actually still haven't met Comfort Love. I know I've booked her and Adam on different panels in the past, as they keep going back to the con, but I've actually not been able to swing in and make an introduction there yet.
You would like her. She's stop that. I'm sorry.
She's
Back off. Oh. Now the cat's trying to chew the cord that connects me to the microphone to the computer. It's joyful here tonight.
The cat's giving you Tourette's.
The tech gremlin.
I can't wait to get back in my office. Hopefully
Joe,
next week.
Not only did you deal with some tech gremlins, and we'll talk about some of the coolness you and D'Lo pulled off here shortly. You did originally you were on like maybe 1 or 2 panels, and then as you took on the role of the second this year, I mean, when I say took it on, you really stepped in and tried to do things. Every once in a while, you're like, "Hey, man, I don't know if you saw it. I hope you don't mind. I slid myself on this panel." I'm like, "Sure, man. that's the way to do." So you did 5 panels this year?
I did 5 panels. One, I definitely just slipped myself in without talking to anybody. But all the rest of them, I okayed it. So, or actually, one of them, actually a couple of them, you tossed me on without even mentioning it to me. I'm like, all right, let's do this.
So I know I knew that would be your response. I'm a potato.
Yeah, I think the biggest surprise was I finally was in a big room for the first time.
Why were you in a big room for the first
time? I was in a big room because a guest got tossed onto the panel, Matt Dinniman, whom I've started reading his books, and I'll talk about that on another episode when we go a bit more in depth.
For the audience, Matt Dinniman writes Dungeon Crawler Carl, which is such a huge geek cultural phenomenon that the biggest guest at our con, if his name comes up, they're like, or even if it doesn't come up, they're like, "Oh man, have you been reading Dungeon Crawler Carl?" It is pervasive through all levels of pop culture right now. And Joe got to sit on the table with him.
Yeah, and there were a ton of cosplays of Carl, of Dungeon Crawl Carl, around the con, and I'd walk up, and as I'm passing them, I just like Carl, and every single time, they responded with glurp glurp, which is from the book, but I wasn't expecting literally every single time for them to say glurp glurp, but that was the go-to response for the like 8 different Carls that I said Carl to
staying in
every
character.
single time. Yep. And for those who are unfamiliar with Dungeon Crawler Carl, what he dresses like is so half the people had the pink Crocs on, half had Hobbit feet on, because he's shoeless for most of the book, or at least I've read the first 2, and I'm started the 3rd one, and so he's got that. He's got boxers that are white with the red hearts on them, and then he's got a jacket, and then half of the ones that I saw also had a stuffed cat on their shoulder, because he has a cat companion. And so, yeah, it's like very obvious that you're Dungeon Crawler Carl, because why else are you running around in boxers? And so, but
because it's Dragon Con.
Because it's Dragon. I mean,
you're not wrong.
You're not wrong.
You're not wrong.
But yeah, no, it was a ton of fun. And just a blast hopping on the different panels, not knowing what to expect. Like the one of the ones that I put myself on is your favorite anime character going to jail?
Oh yeah.
And I tossed myself on that, not realizing that the other, like almost every other person on the panel, was either an attorney or a police officer. So we had one police officer, and we had 3 attorneys, and then there was me and Stoner Gump at the end. And Stoner Gump, he the whole time he was like, I don't know what's going on, but he had fun with it. But it was clear that he was just like, I don't know what's going on with this panel, but let's do this. So, but the Supreme Attorney, she got the audience all kinds of riled up, because she just played devil's advocate the entire time, intentionally to rile up the audience. And so we had a lot of fun with that panel. It was a ton of fun. And then of course I was on lights, camera, bleepity bleep with Tyra, and that was a fantastic panel, talking about getting started into streaming and getting comfortable with it, and kind of overcoming any anxiety that you have at the beginning of that process, of that journey, and just do it. Don't let your misconceptions stop you, or your anxiety stop you. Just get streaming.
And I had just so many teachers come up to me afterwards. So much so that I'm putting in a panel for next year called what am I going to call it? I already named it. I can't find it, but teaching in digital, like, what do you do when you're teaching in digital?
That sounds like a course.
Oh yeah,
Teachers Gone Digital. That's it. Teachers Gone Digital.
Yeah, there were a lot of teachers in the audience that were up asking questions and whatnot about streaming their classes.
Yes.
Oh.
So that's, you never know what kind of audience you're going to pull. But Tyra, that absolutely sounds like a class we need to build for Be Awesome Together to sell. Because I think you've got a ton of information to share on that.
And I need to say, I forgot a little bit. I don't know how I could possibly forget that beautiful, amazing woman, but she was on Awesome Women. She does the Dragon Con report. Valencia, thankfully, dropped something about it. She was just delightful, and she's been in radio for like 30 years. It's just amazing. Or 20 years. I don't want to age her beyond. And a long time. Nice to see you. How's the weather?
I think one of the fun things that happened. So we did Be Awesome together.
We did.
And
Bar Fox.
Yeah, with Bar Fox, who is by far one of my favorite people in the world at Dragon Con. And I seriously make I just figure out a panel so I can sit down and talk with him for an hour every year. That's even though we're both in the same city, he works in the TV industry and I don't, and very just busy.
Yeah.
We never come across. We know some of the same people. We've worked in some of the same circles, but Dragon Con's where we get to hang out. So I make a panel and we sit down and hang out. That was fun. And Valencia stood up and talked about breaking out of her shell and reaching out. And she's like, I don't really do cosplay, but tomorrow I'm doing this cosplay. I've got this big mustard shirt and I got these earrings and it's a Kendrick Lamar reference. And I hope people get it. We're like, man, you're going to be awesome. So let me tell you, Tyra, Joe and I did Wise and Nerdy the next day. Valencia came to Wise and Nerdy, which she'd always, in Valencia's way, she basically said, Charles, I thought you sucked, but this was awesome, and I like it now. So something to that effect of I didn't really watch Wise and Nerdy, but I like it now. But she got up to ask a question, did some coolness with us, sat down. Somebody a few minutes later got up to interact with our show, right? Wise and Nerdy is very, very interactive at these live cons. And he goes, I'm sorry, I have to say, Miss, I don't know if you meant to do this, but mustard. And he did the reference. He's like, oh my God, you were so amazing. And it was so cool to see the dot connect. You don't always get to see that. I'm going to try this, and this is what I hope to do. And then the very next day to see it live happen. And then she said a number of people actually had recognized what she was trying to do. And that's so much
awesome.
Fun.
So there was something else that happened with Bar Fox that was like crazy. You didn't know this because you were off trying to tear down all of our audio right before we go live and caused me to have to.
Oh yeah, I haven't told you that story yet, John. You'll like it.
Yeah, it's wonderful, John. I had to improv. I am not an improver, except for maybe I am and just don't know it.
You just had to talk.
I did a lot, but
we should have just told you to sing some Taylor Swift songs up there.
I don't sing, but we were talking about remembering our first kiss, and Bard couldn't remember his, and I was like, "Oh yeah, no, I know exactly who it was, Matt Still," and he's like, "Excuse me." He knows he knows Matt Still, which
Bard was excuse me.
And then we took a selfie together, and he sent it to Matt, who is on the board of the Grammys. He's Elton John's producer, and Bar Fox knows him too from the whole entertainment world. So it's like worlds collide. You never know who you're going to meet at Dragon Con.
I got to digitally meet a celebrity that I'm now talking to for next year. That I can talk about off air, but we at Dragon Con don't talk about that stuff on air until the con is done and they showed up, which this year we actually had some amazing guests. The McElroys really did some great shows and did some good interaction. I know, Tyra, you were on a panel with Clint
and his sons. I had Clint on one for the perfect panel. Like, it doesn't have to be perfect. Let it go. I call it the Elsa panel is my things. But Clint was like, why am I here? Because as Joe will attest, he don't care.
I know.
And then which two were on the panel with us? It was Justin and
the youngest.
Yeah, I'm blanking on his name. I'm sorry, McElroy fans, but
I will go find out while you chat.
Yeah. They I actually really like. So one of the behind the scenes, one of their asks this year was that they only do 2 panels together, and so
they're big panels,
yeah. And so they got to spread their wings a bit more this year and do things individually. And Charles did a fantastic job of trying to integrate their various backgrounds with the panels that they got assigned to, and so it was nice to see them interacting more than just as a unit.
Yeah, it's Justin and Griffin we had.
Yeah, Griffin. Yep. So,
and they were super good, and they were good about not taking over a panel, which can sometimes happen when you have stars of that level. they can sometimes not think about it and end up taking over, also because people will ask them questions and not everybody on the panel. But luckily, the questions that we got were ones that everybody could answer. And I think we did a pretty good job of getting everybody's voice heard.
Yeah, I really like it when the audience, their questions actually have to do with the content of the panel, because sometimes people will get up there and they'll be like, I'm going to ask this particular celebrity a question that has nothing to do with the content of the panel because I am at the mic. So, they did, at least the panels that I went to, the audience members did a really good job of staying on topic.
I want to say the magic of Dragon Con has kind of returned, right? After COVID, it was a little rough. New people came, smaller audiences, smaller crowds, but it feels like it has just, there's no explanation for some of the stuff that's happened, right? More people are showing up down in the basement to fill panels on all the tracks, but we really had a big thing. But the first year we had the McElroys, I had to stand up and announce on one of the panels, like, this is about monetizing your podcast and about the business of growing into what you want to do. So this guest is here for these reasons, including Travis is here to talk about that. There will be a Q&A for the McElroys later at this date, please, because people just didn't get it then. That's only 4 years ago, something like that. And this year we didn't have to do that all. Like you guys are saying, it's every panel seemed to be the people understood why the panel was there and how to interact with it for the most part. I'm sure there's probably a one-off question somewhere, but
I had a little problem in Awesome Women trying to get it back to talking about awesome women at one point. But thankfully I had help because other people had questions and I could move it along.
Is it something you can relay here?
Like no, it was just that somebody had really specific questions about their situation that was not related to being an awesome woman in digital media, which is fine. And we went down that path a little ways, but they were wanting to continue to ask questions. And I was like, no, there's somebody behind you. I need to get to them and make sure we get to everybody's questions. Yeah. And so that kind of helped break that up. And then afterwards, Comfort had a conversation with the person, and that went, I think, really well. So it opened the door for that conversation. But that was the one time during the weekend where I was like, okay, I gotta get this show back on the tracks, because we're not talking about things connected to awesome women. We're talking about a very specific kind of situation.
Yeah, it seems like a tough thing for moderators to deal with, because I saw that happen a few times, and trying to steer them back in, or hey, the next person, and then they get but, and it's like
that's teacher long enough to shove them off. But,
yeah,
but the other thing as a moderator is trying to make sure everybody gets their time to talk too. Yeah. And some people are like, even Channing, who's been on our track for years, I had to remind him to talk. He'll get so wrapped up in listening to everybody. I'm like, no, sir, you're not getting off that easy.
You also have to remind him to get what, Joe? What's now a tradition at the chat?
Yeah, to pick up his little sign that he's left the last couple of years and it's gone home with you.
And I bring it back every year. Yep. And he spends a decent, I mean, it's probably not a ton of money, but it's plastic.
It's a nice sign.
It's like spray coated. It's really awesome sign.
Yeah, with the QR code to his content and whatnot. It's a very clever idea to have that, if he would just remember to keep it.
So what we should do, Joe, is see how much it is to make those and make them like a dozen, but instead of his QR code, put our Wise and Nerdy QR code on it. Like, here, man, we got you this just in case you keep losing them.
I like how he only remembers one of his podcasts.
Yeah. Hey, Be Awesome Together is going to be the rock star by the time we get next year. Wise and Nerdy, I think, is going to be the one needing
Wise and Nerdy is awesome.
Yeah.
Underscores. Don't forget the underscores.
That's right.
We got to get you some kind of logo shirt about embracing the underscore. See what team people fall on. But
I'll design that.
This year, Tyra.
Yes.
Balance your plate.
I did pretty good.
That's your natural reaction to everything. What did she just say, guys? Oh, I'll design that. Balance your plate.
Oh, I know.
But I enjoy that. But I think I might have us I got to double check with them. But I think I might have 2 lovely ladies who will be part of my social media team throughout the year. So I'm pretty excited because I think that will help a lot. I think I think we've been putting out some really great content, but it will help kind of solidify that year-round stuff now that Be Awesome Together is off on its own. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm hoping they both say yes, and then we will cause chaos, and I will hand things. I'm trying really hard.
You are.
No is a complete sentence, as I said.
Man, I got to share that quote with my daughter today, Crosby. I think it's the Be Awesome panel that somebody said in the audience, not just no is a complete sentence, but if you don't have to explain a yes, you don't have to explain a no. And that just landed so well. In Wise and Nerdy, we had about half the room, Joe? Filled up?
Yeah, it was about 30 or so
30,
people.
30, 40 people, somewhere in there, which is for us at a con, as we're still building momentum. That's our biggest audience. But what was better was we came up with a topic that was, because we turned out that we all had Josh the Dad from Uploads of Fun. Josh Cooper was our guest for this year. And also Uploads of Fun, another great guest of the con. We'll talk about them in a minute. But Josh was our guest for Wise and Nerdy, and we discovered that we all had basically a repressed background in religion. And we were talking about, I think, Joe, you phrased it as, do you remember? It was something like, how
do I overcome my sheltered upbringing or something
like that. Yeah. And so most people, it was like, it lit to the question of, I said, by a show of hands, how many people were told like they can't do something, then it turned out as an adult, like, well, that's ridiculous. It's just normal. And only a few hands went up, went, all right, well, how many people got exposed to things that they thought now as adult they should not have been exposed to? Tons of hands went up. So after 1 or 2 stories of, oh, this was a dumb thing my parents said I couldn't do that I did, I went, all right, now I want to hear your stories. That broke the wall, the retaining wall, right? The flood scheme. We had a line. Stoner jumped in line to tell a story, a number of people, and then they'd get back in line again to tell another story. I think Joe, out of 6 segments, we got through 3.
Wow.
4. But one of those was bad dad jokes, and no one in the audience provided bad dad jokes.
Nobody else jumped in on the bad dad jokes.
That wasn't nice.
I restrained myself.
I appreciate your restraint, sir.
There.
Now we got a question from the chat here. Valencia is asking if we'll have Be Awesome Together or Wise and Nerdy ribbons for next year. We really are.
I
can throw down the gauntlet, didn't she?
We're gonna have a schedule and we're gonna order stuff next year.
Probably, yes. I mean, yes. I'm not saying we're not going to Valencia's question, probably, but to be truthful, it's going to take my 2 awesome people over there to keep that on track, because I will definitely, the closer we get, the more I lose things. But yes, for Dragon Con specific, we're going to have a schedule of ordering things, and more than likely in that schedule we will work in Wise and Nerdy and Be Awesome Together stuff.
Well, and the panel needs ribbons. I feel bad when I see other tracks. I mean, the track needs ribbons. I feel bad when other tracks have ribbons and we don't.
Why?
Because we should be better. I want to be on people's name badges.
Come watch us live 24/7 around the universe.
No, that part, let me tell you, that part is very, very sexy. And I heard more from people who said things like, I watched the stream, or I'm so thankful I can watch this on the way home. Which reminds me, we have streams to download. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I'll work on that tonight. I'll stay up and work on some stuff for sure. Okay, so the track ribbon could just say "Watch this" with a QR code, and when they scan it, gets to the live feed as we're broadcasting. Joe came up with a fun one.
Ooh,
which one? Oh, go plug yourself. Which has a
double meaning.
It has a double meaning.
So are we back on the
actually
the
has a triple meaning?
No,
it has a triple meaning, but definitely not the one Tinkerbell went to at all.
So what made me think of it is somewhat, I can't remember what panel that I was at, but they were like, okay, it's time for you to plug yourself right at the end of the panel, and I was like, Go plug yourself. But I texted that to Charles, and at that time, his mind, where did your mind go, Charles?
I was doing tech stuff, so I'm like, oh, I'm thinking tech ops. I'm thinking, because I didn't know Joe was whatever he's doing. I'm thinking tech stuff. Something 1/4-inch cable going to plug into a board. Go plug yourself. Go plug yourself. You know, how many times we get tired of working a show and somebody's like, this isn't working. Stop unplugging the microphone. Go unplug, you know. And I thought it was going to be that, like a tech thing. Go plug yourself with a 1/4-inch cable. That is not what he was thinking at all.
Nope. But that's
not what I thought when I heard it.
Not what I thought.
So, you know, I think a ribbon would be fun to have a little 1/4-inch cable with an actual microphone on the other end of it. It says go plug yourself. So it can mean both.
But you know what, Charles? You don't have it on hand, but you got something pretty cool during our panel.
I did. Devo showed up with presents, and in my backpack where I kept it safe. I just didn't bring my backpack into the studio tonight for reasons unknown. And Joe apparently didn't bring the dice because he's going to get his dice. But I have a gavel, like a judge's gavel with a plate that has those dice on the end of it.
Oh, those are awesome.
The hammers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Charles finally has his gavel.
Oh, he's beating the crap out of it too.
Oh,
and I'm
my
like,
God.
and I had I put another layer of enamel on it, but I didn't think of the fact that the gavel base already had a coat on it.
Okay.
And sometimes when you use two different materials, they don't always adhere real well. And I had like, okay, we're testing it here, you know. And here comes Charles. He's hammering on it. This is great,
baby.
You know,
whack, whack.
I'm like, oh God. And she was like, oh, you're already broken. I'm thinking, well, didn't matter. Now
5 seconds of fun.
It still works.
No, it still works.
So good.
Okay.
Well, okay, that's just gonna flake off, and it'll be right back to the original. Yeah, I don't. That's
I love it so much.
Yeah, it's okay.
We appreciate you.
Yeah, it was fun.
Too cute. Valencia did come to a lot of our panels. She just said that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. The memories are flooding back. She's like, I remember all of this.
Terror.
I really did go to a lot of y'all's panels. And here's the thing. I cannot speak to whether Valencia drinks or not, but I will tell you, she does not strike me as a drinker. You don't have to be to have this kind of be a whirlwind, almost lucid dream, because DragonCon's very overwhelming and it's very fast. And we were just there. I was just there on Wednesday trying to get ready for the press tour, and now I'm home. It's just like that. So, yeah.
I miss it, Charles.
I can get hot and sweaty and stinky and come hug you tomorrow. That'll kind of bring back some of the memories. So every time anybody saw me, I was
you were
sweaty. We did get back to year one in rooms in 6 and 7, where Galleria 7 was cold and Galleria 6 was warmer. It wasn't
too bad other than Thursday.
Yeah.
But
Thursday was the worst.
It was the worst Thursday. Friday night when Scott Moore was performing, it was a song.
Yeah.
Well, John brought in a fan. That really helped.
It did. And part of it was we didn't get it fixed till Friday afternoon. So you have a certain heat base. Then I don't know what goes on in those two rooms. And the guy did get up in between panels and do something in the ceiling about, I got to make sure the flow is right, whatever. Mm-hmm. It'll fix both. But this year one in the basement, that thermostat controls both rooms, and it just pours cold in the 7 and not enough in the 6 to overwhelm all the panels that we have. But by Saturday, it got more tolerable. Better. And then the fan, the O'Connell's brought in was great.
Yeah, G7 always ends up as our smoky ice box, because Trader Joe's is just down the hall from it.
Good old
I didn't notice any smoke this year or smell it really.
It was smoky.
Walk out there.
It was smoky.
Okay.
It did smell good though.
Yeah, no, it wasn't a bad smoke this year, but it definitely was smoke.
I mean, nothing's going to beat the year of the smoke, which was you lost all the ceilings have recessed lighting in them. You lost the lights in the layer of smoke that was up there. Wow. It was, you could take photos, which I did. I took photos of it, and you can clearly see the smoke line coming down. And It was something went wrong, but that's not this year. What team? What was the either most fun or craziest thing to have happened to you this con?
Joe and I know.
Oh,
we're talking about the overflow room.
Oh
no,
that was chaos. We
can
talk about that.
Organized chaos.
That's my favorite thing.
Yeah, so 20 minutes before a panel is going to go live.
Oh, no, that's my favorite thing. Let me set you up.
Fine, you do it. You do
it. Set up,
Ed.
All right. Once upon a time in a land. No, okay, but we have this huge line out for Little Crew, right? And I'm working the door because usually the late night ones I try to be there because if anybody's going to give grief, I like to be the one to take the grief instead of anybody on the team. The team's worked hard all day, and it's kind of my job to take the bullets. And so I'm working the door, checking the licenses because it's an 18 up thing, and the room fills up. Now I think we could probably get more chairs in that room, even to fire code, maybe not. I don't know, but it filled up really fast, and it doesn't help that on that particular panel there's 4 artists. And then the host is from Bosch. You got 4 artists and an MC, and they all have a bit of a crew that runs with them to record things and help them with things. So you already start with like 10, 20 people in the room, which pissed off the line. But it is what it is. So as it's filling up, I started early, loading in. Thinking it was going to take longer to load in and do everything. And I noticed, like Joe said, 20 minutes before, the line's done. And yet it's still wrapping around the post and going back. And Joe and Devo come up to me and like, hey, if you don't need anything, we're going to go ahead and head home for night because they've both been driving in from my house to the con all week. And that's Friday night. So it's the first long day. And like, just a thought, if you will, do you think that maybe we could throw the signal from in here into the next room? And Joe's like, how? We're not streaming. Like, you're right. So maybe you take the signal from the Mevo camera in this room, captured in that room. I don't know. And that's literally where I left it. And now, Joe, you guys can go and tell the story.
Yeah. So my first thought was, because for those that don't know, which is probably most everybody that's listening, the Mevo cameras are wireless, and they, as long as the computer and the camera are on the same internet signal, they can interact with each other. And so we captured the Mevo, and the Mevo has a built-in microphone. And so my first thought was, okay, we can pull the room ambient noise, but it's not going to be great. So we got it set up. We got it pulling in the Mevo camera. We've got it hooked up into the board that's in the room so that it'll play through the speakers, and the HDMI cable for the TV in there is super long. So the tech table is at the back of the room, the TV's at the front of the room. We've got it all hooked up. It's displaying it. And we're like, okay. And so we report back to you that we've got it set up, but the audio kind of sucks. And that's when you had a really good idea.
So this, by the way, everybody, was within less than 10 minutes. In less than 10 minutes of them thinking they're going to walk out the door, and I thought this crazy, never been done before at Dragon Con or maybe anywhere idea. Boom, they pull it off. And honestly, instantly before the Mevo, I was thinking, John, you'd brought this nice big camera you borrowed. And I was like, oh, maybe we can run an HDMI from that under the wall to the TV. It'll just, but you came up with a better solution. And then I went in to check the audio, and it was bad. But then I had, as always, thanks to Tyra introducing it to me a year ago, I have my newer wireless microphones. So I went, is that computer slot a USB-C? And Joe looks down and is like, it sure is. I'm like, here, plug this in. And sure enough, tested it. And it was, and then there was something. John comes from a TV and production background that I didn't realize until this weekend, to be honest. And he kept using the word mux. And the first time he used it, I'm like, what'd you call me? Oh, wait, yeah, no, I understand what you meant. And he's like, I was like, cool, can y'all fix it? I'm going to go tell him we're going to load this room. Took the whole line, so everybody follow me. You won't be in the room live, but you will get to see it. I'm going to sit here now and make sure you get to interact with everybody, because there's this thing about asking the artist questions. And then there's this bidding at the end for all the art that they've done. There's the ability to put in suggestions for their drawing. And that's what people were returning. This is the 3rd or 4th year I think we've done it. It's just gotten bigger every year. And so people are returning specifically for that. So one guy was at the front of the line, the second line. He's like, hey, not trying to be that guy, but I spent a lot of money last year on this. I'd like to do it again. I was like, we will make that happen, sir. Don't worry about it. So I was like, we're going on a field trip. Everybody follow me. Walked them around. And about time I go into the room, Joe and Diva are giving a thumbs up. We got the audio working, and we filled Galleria 7 with just a few seats to spare with the people that stuck around.
And then Phil, during the entire panel, kept running back and forth. Whenever a seat opened up in the primary room, he grabbed a few people from the overflow room and pulled them in there. And because of all that, they ended up, and I attribute it largely to this, but also they've been building this over the last couple of years. Between those two factors, they were able to raise, I think they said about $400 more than last year. They raised $1,603 for the charity, for the Dragon Con charity. So that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, that was fun. And every time someone would leave, Phil would be like, hold the door, don't let anybody in. He'd go running around the thing, and he'd bring them back in. Yeah, it was really great. I mean, talk about a team effort. I mean, that was man, that was impressive.
And that's where I say, you know, there's never a negative to the teams that came before, but this year there was such breathing room with this team of just high energy, high curiosity, willingness to figure it out, willingness to nobody ever said, like Joe naturally, it was not negative. Joe's like, wait, how? And I was like, Diva said, we're not streaming it because your brain is you're literally trying to figure out the problem. So you're going down a literal path. But the second I went, signal, boom, we'll figure it out. I mean, everybody had that. Everybody had that ability to jump into the chaos and let's see where we land. And then Diva comes around one time, I was like, I thought y'all left. He said, no. Well, I don't remember what excuse you got. At the end of the whole show, right, we empty out the last bit of 7. 6 is still packed to the wall now because as people left, we combined 2 rooms into 1, and they raised all the money. Devo's still there. I'm like, Devo, where's Joe? He's, I don't know. I think he's over there in the corner. Like, y'all should have left like you now. And he's like, I had to work the door. I'm like, as long as Joe don't get to a fist
kept
fight,
bringing the paying people in. I mean, that was the point, right? To raise money for charity. So poor Joe had to just suffer in the corner and wait.
So how bad? Because I absolutely,
he knew. We all knew what it was for, right? I mean,
yep.
But
I with Joe, I'd rather have not had to been exposed to some of the things I had to see in that panel.
Oh, I didn't stick. I
know. No, you got away. I envied you in getting away. So that was my favorite / craziest thing. It was so crazy, and it worked.
It did. And I mean, props to Joe through all that. I mean, he knew the Mevo stuff, and that was kudos on him, man.
All right. So, but Devo, you indicated there was a separate story that you and Joe know about. That was the craziest or funniest thing that happened.
Which one is that? Well, they all began to.
They blur together.
They blur together.
This sounds like a dodging of the question.
I don't know.
T-Bone.
I've got one bone to pick with Devo though. Every night he signs up to volunteer for the last panel and then signs up the next day for the first panel.
Hey, I'm not the reason your car broke down, man.
I mean
that's true. Who's the victim here? Not me.
That was the one thing that Devo relayed about the car. Is like, I looked at the transmission fluid. It was like black. I'm like, dude, it's not even red anymore. I'm like, don't crush
that transmission
spirit.
It was dead.
crazy.
I'm trying to think what you're talking about.
I don't know. As soon as I said the craziest funny thing, you were like, "Oh, me and Joe know," and I'm like,
"Oh, that's that.
That
was that Mevo. I mean, the overflow. That was yeah. That was a lot of fun. We'll be prepared. I will be prepared for that next year. I will make sure I have my HDMI over Ethernet. I mean, I sat there. I'm like, what? I don't need to bring those.
Until you,
why?
That's the thing.
Now
that you've experienced it, so Dio and I had a few meetings beforehand about what to bring, and I tried to mentally map out what certain things were. But like, you really are going to just have to see it. Once you see it, you'll get it, and you do. And now you kind of know how to refine and what to bring to make it bigger, better, more.
Well, we did. I think we all had some pretty good contingencies in the between all of us, equipment wise, whatever.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, there was the one. Yeah. Where Charles again. Actually, I think Charles tore the audio apart a couple of times. Actually.
Yes. He
because
did.
Perhaps it was it. I don't know if it was Thursday or Friday. No, it was Friday. I'm sitting up there and we're doing mic checks and I'm running around. Maybe it was Saturday and I'm doing mic checks, and Charles like, keep talking into it. Keep talking into the wireless mic. I'm okay. And I keep talking to it because he's trying to figure it out. I think, Joe, you were back there. And Stephen Adams was on, and just Stephen I've never met before, except for just her chatting and just whatnot.
Sure.
And I'm trying to come up with, what do you say? And just keep talking. He and I are talking back and forth. And at the same time, it's going to be a panel. So, and then I start going, well, you could do the announcers test, or what do they call it? I forget it. Ed McMahon called it something. And you go one hen, two ducks. And he and I started going back and forth and talking about it. He goes, what is that? And so we started talking. I'm talking to the mic. So I'm using this opportunity talking to the mic and just running through this script that is some old announcers thing that I learned years and years ago. And he's like, oh, that's really awesome. That's really cool. He was talking about it. And I go, and by the way, I'm Devo. And he's like, Devo, oh my gosh, we'd never met before. So it was a lot of fun. Yeah. I mean, it was the entire time Charles was back there, I could hear him grumbling away. Going, oh, come on, Joe.
I'm in work mode when I'm testing to myself
constantly. Oh yeah, no, and I'm trying to provide as much something so you can keep testing without sounding like an idiot. So anyway.
And Charles, why don't you talk about deciding to completely tear down our setup before you and Tyra's panel?
Before our panel.
This separates the professionals from the wannabes. Okay. Devo, just before I tell the story.
Okay.
In your background, you've worked some audio events, different things. And sometimes you got to replace something and it takes practice.
It does.
And I do wish in that moment for Joe's sanity, and Tyra's sanity, I wish in that moment it had been you and Vito. Because the three of us have had to do that in a show before where it's like you got a 20-minute break and this thing's shot and you got to replace the whole thing now. Boom, 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 boom. And when you practice with the crew, it gets down. So I was sitting there and I hate talking through panels. I hate it. It just so happened to be those were the days. It was more of a game show thing that they were doing. Mm-hmm. So the room was always so there was just this buzz in the line. And I'm going to tell you, as you guys learned, there are certain things I can't tolerate. My brain will not let me tolerate it. And I'm like, I'm not putting out bad audio. We're going to tweak. We're going to fix until we get this right. And Joe helped me identify that the machine that was under the big computer was the problem. I'm like, okay. And I mean, I have it on my lap. I pulled out the board, put it in my lap. So I have this massive board in my lap while the show's going on. I'm telling Joe, whispering, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to take these cables out. We're going to put them in here. And we're going to do this. And she's like, we're getting rid of the cables. You're in charge of that, Joe. You're going to that's just your job. You're going to take the cables out, put them right into the board. I'm going to take the computer over here. I'm going to swap. And I'm walking there. I say, okay, let's go through the steps again. And I'm walking through the steps. And Joe, you did it. You did it great. And we did. John O'Connell came over. And the first thing I did was ripped out that big old recording computer, threw it off to the side, popped up my laptop while they were pulling up the cables and changing it out. And we still ultimately found 2 devices that were a problem. I'm like, all right, that's an easy solution. It was not such a problem. I couldn't live with it. There are certain times where the buzz, it's not buzzy. It's kind of, staticky a little bit in the broadcasts that we're putting out there. But we had 2 different PreSonus devices that were USB that did the same thing. We changed the cable, made it better. There was just it could have been with shielding. What we're gonna do is we're gonna buy some new devices next year that are modern with USB-C and do it. And yes, I was sweating like nobody's business. And Tyra was like, "It's time to start." I'm like, "1 second, Tyra. I know it's driving your brain crazy. I know.
Like,
but we're
we
almost
have a guest.
there.
We must start."
Yeah. And then Love's like, "Well, sometimes people don't show up on time, including track directors." And I was smiling, I was laughing. By that time, I was like, "Okay, it's good enough." And I got it and I had to get it to good enough because there was just no knob. But yeah, I ripped out a computer, a soundboard, and two audio devices in a matter of 30 minutes or less, and we got it. We got it there. No, we started as soon as the other one stopped. You just saw the 10 minutes.
I just saw the 10 minutes of pure ass chaos.
Yeah, because we still had to figure out which mics were which real quick and get everything up. And that was when we were like, "Hey, hit this button." And I hit it and it went whong in the room, woke everybody up. It's like, everybody's awake now. I'm not afraid of that. There's a lot of people who are afraid of hitting the button and making the loud noise. Just make the noise. Everybody wakes up, they laugh, and now you know exactly which switch to hit or not hit. So, but I think it ultimately worked out, and we did good. But we're coming towards the end. So, Tyra, Joe, what were some of your either funniest or craziest moments in the con?
Tyra, you've been pretty quiet. What do you got?
So I think that was great. So I have some friends that I met through a Discord. Charles, what's up? Go ahead, say it.
No. It was from pre-show. It would not land here. I'll tell you after.
You'll tell me after. So we have some friends that I met through a Discord, a Star Wars Denbo server is what we call it. It's about Din Djarin and Bo-Katan, and a group of us had made a server where we could talk to each other. It's a group of 9 ladies, and 3 of them were here this year. One of them had FOMO so bad. She was in Texas, and on Wednesday she decided to get a plane ticket.
Wow.
And a Dragon Con ticket. And one of our girls from Canada said she could couch surf in their room at the Margaritaville resort. And so we were super excited to have Jay down and to see Nerdy and Jelly, and just the fact that you can make meaningful relationships online. It was just such a beautiful reminder of that there's multiple ways to make friends nowadays. And these were ladies that I had never met until they came to Dragon Con either 3 years ago or 2 years ago. And Nerdy and her husband came down this year. This is his first time. Him and Shane hit it off like they're having a bromance. And because he can talk cars with him and sports and geekdom. So it's like a love affair gone right. And, they did the whole man shake when they met each other. And then by the end of the first night, they were like, "Come in," and hugging like old time bros. And we stayed up to 4:00 in the morning on Saturday. Wow. Not drinking, eating I had a makeshift charcuterie board. We were nibbling, we were talking, having a great time. And I hated myself because I had a 10 a.m. panel.
That's rough. Yeah.
It was rough, but it was great. It just, that kind of, you can make friends anywhere. And I think that was a big thing for me. And I think my other thing was I really loved Clint McElroy. I was not expecting to.
Yeah, no, I've always dug Clint.
Clint is, I liked his sons too. Not saying I didn't, that they're awesome as well. But Daddy is funny as crap. I mean, that man, he was hilarious. And he was exactly the balance we needed amongst a bunch of perfectionists. And he was just wonderful. And I do want to say that tonight is the 16th anniversary of my meet cute.
So tell everybody the story.
Yeah, I met Shane at Dragon Con 16 years ago.
She tried to pull, "Do you know who I am?" And he was security and bounced her. But yeah.
No. We were at a Lord of the Rings concert because we're 2 geeks. And the band that I used to do promo for called Emerald Rose was playing. And he had to move seats because a lady had cosplayed as Marge Simpson. And her hair was so tall that my 6'4" husband, who is all trunk, had to move. And he sat next to me, and I Facebook friended him. So just remember, everybody, Facebook friend or Instagram follow. do something, because that's actually where he asked me out, was in Facebook Messenger. So.
And Valencia says she got to meet your husband in person this year.
He's so cute. Oh, and his Jedi costume looks so good. I'm so happy.
Yeah, it does.
All right,
I'm
now, Joe,
excited.
I have a specific question for you. And so the craziest, funniest thing, swag. You've always, so there's a little bit of a story of Fern the Geek and how Joe introduced her to Swag and Seek or Swag or whatever. I'll let you tell the details.
I love
but now she hunts him down to bring him swag every year, which is really cool. So go forth and conquer.
Yeah, so a couple of years ago, I was picking up one of the Swag and Seek things and just walking around, and she's like, what was that? Because I've made it a habit whenever I'm walking through the Hilton to check the planters, especially.
Yep.
And to see. And I guess I should back up even further. Swag and Seek is a thing that happens at Dragon Con where people will just leave stuff at random for people to pick up and take home.
And there's a whole group. It's an unofficial official group kind of thing.
Yes,
and they have
exactly.
they have a room on Thursday night, or I think
we give them a space on Thursday to do a meetup. Yep.
Yeah, and so I explained to Fern exactly what it was, and she got super into it. And for the past couple of years, she has done Swag and Seek, and she has specifically come to me to give me one of her little bags of Swag and Seek stuff. And Charles is super jealous because last year in my Swag and Seek, it included a little mini Funko Pop.
Now,
yeah.
So the jealousy goes a little bit back. I don't even know what Funko Pop that is. It's
Azula from Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Okay, so it was we finished up Wise and Nerdy, and I'll be honest, one of my little things is I've always wanted people to come out and talk to me after a panel. Most of the panels I've ever done, because I'm really good at shining the light on people, and people are awesome. Don't get me wrong. So most of the panels I've ever done, other people get talked to, and I get ignored, and I go, okay, let's go back to my business. And we did Wise and Nerdy, and we're not stop it, people doing the tear signs on the video. The sadness. But when we do Wise and Nerdy, mostly the people don't come up to talk to us, period, really. And then, that was so much fun, and they move on, right? And in this case, like, I've noticed this person kind of waiting, and they make a beeline up, and they go right to Joe, and like, oh, last year you were so grateful, you were so happy. She pulls out this sizable bag, and I could see a Funko mini pop in there. Like, it was just the fact that she thought of him and brought it to him. I was like, I would if he noticed you.
That was awesome.
Well done. Perfect timing.
So yeah, and she did bring me a swag bag this year, but yeah. So how much did you bring home to the kids? How much swag in the Swag and Seek or wherever?
I didn't search a ton, and I've gotten a lot more picky, I guess, or discerning. So my first year doing Swag and Seek, I grabbed everything that I found, everything, and I brought back a bunch of stuff that it's really just sitting in a bag still, because it's not something that I cared for, to be completely blunt. But it was the whole, you got to pick it up, you got to grab it, like, it's just
gotta catch it all.
But now I'll walk over, I'll pick it up, and I'll take a couple of seconds to look at it and see if there's anything in there that I actually want. And if there's not, I'll put it back and let someone else get it. So, so this year I came back with only 2 bags. One is the one that Fern gave me, which is awesome. It has some really cool little tidbits in there. A little bracelet that has, let's see, was it #GeekLife? I'm pretty sure is what her little thing is. And and there was a few other tidbits in there that were pretty sweet. And then the other one that I grabbed had a couple of Lego minifigs, one of Superman and one of Crypto. And so those are the 2 that I came home with this year. So, awesome. But yeah, there's a bunch where a lot of people really like doing stickers. There's a ton of stickers, and like there's a whole bunch of cults at Dragon Con, and so stickers and stuff end up at the cults, but also we were talking about the dialect that was out over in front of the Star Trek area, and you could see on the rim of it was a whole bunch of stickers that people had just dropped off on there. And so but you could also see them in the planters and stuff like that. So I saw a bunch of stickers as well and things like that. But speaking of swag and seek, your daughter came home with a couple of really cool swag and seek items.
What did you get?
One that she brought specifically for you.
Okay, yeah. So Crosby was talking to somebody. She said she got a lot of stuff. I haven't seen anything but what she showed me for me. I just forgot to sit down with her. Yes, the short version is she was talking to somebody like, yeah, you can have anything you want. And there was these metal signs that it's going to go up here behind me. It's about a little bit smaller than what's behind me now, but it's a tin metal sign, and it's this beautiful sign for Doom with the Doom Slayer on it and the flames around it and stuff. And she comes up, it's like, who's your favorite kid? I was like, what did you do? And she turned around, and it was part of Swag and Seek, and she got a different cool one for herself there too. So I thought that was really fun. Yeah, Joe.
And what did you tell you? So you're definitely in the running. You haven't won the vote yet, but you're a strong contender for favorite kid.
You're campaigning strong this year for favorite kid. So cool. Any last words about our experience with Dragon Con? Because I'm sure we could go all night, but it's about that time.
I want to say Wednesday and Thursday were insane. Like Wednesday was more crowded than I thought it would be. The countdown to Dragon Con that was in the Marriott was crazy. Thursday was packed to the gills. We packed panels on Thursday night, which I was shocked. I was literally shocked. In Galleria 6, we packed out, I can't remember what. We did the perfect panel at 8:30, and it was maxed.
Yeah,
all of our panels were maxed on Thursday.
I was just going to say our panels in general felt like we had better attendance this year, just overall. I don't. There were only a handful of panels where I felt they were poorly attended for our track this year. We did good. I don't know if it was people. Well, we had a lot of returnees, but there were a handful where I think the few that had issues were the titles needed to be reworked, to be blunt, the panel titles. But I think in general the panel submissions this year had better panel titles, regardless. So a lot of people ignore whatever the description is. There's a description for each panel in the app. The panel
into it. Yeah.
The panel title is where you really sell your panel. And so I think in general we had a lot more quality panel titles this year, and it really showed with people showing up for the panels.
I agree, man. I agree fully. Devo, any last words?
It was exciting. I loved it. I had a great time. You guys were great. You guys made it better than it even could have. Just going for me. Meeting people at something that big is a very random, but walking in and just knowing people and then knowing them, that's really fun.
And Tech Ops knowing you, that's always a good thing.
I'm gonna put a good word in for you next year, okay, Charles? All right, you bet, man.
Are you coming back next year?
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome.
Yay!
Awesome.
In fact,
although Joe,
right?
We gotta discuss this. She's like, "Oh, is there a bidding war for me?" He's like, "Not now. Not you forget who brought you to the table."
Yeah.
I think
maybe here with me right now.
A bone to pick with you.
My wife does have a bone to pick with me.
That's so funny. I sent Devo a Zumba video from TikTok right before this.
Oh, by the way, she does know the guy Rick Coffee who does those. She knows who that is. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that is funny. That was funny.
So, all right, we're gonna get out of here. We'll go down the line. Devo, where can they find you?
Right here, man, all day long, or Rebecca Zumba on YouTube.
T-Bone.
So do you know when you say T-Bone, do you know who I think of?
No.
Tommy Lee from Motley Crue, because that's what they called him, was T-Bone.
Oh, yeah, that happened.
So anyway, you can find me at tyraburton.com because I believe in websites and not just link trees.
J-Bone.
I mean, not next Thursday night, but in general, Thursday nights 8:30 here, wiseandnerdy.com.
Yeah. Why did you do the more you know pose? Do 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 do. Eli did the 80s freeze with his finger under his chin and did like a glamour shot pose. Yes, Wise and Nerdy is everything, and we are so happy that you all came out. And of course, I got a podcasting all across the internet to the point that my wife met somebody at Dragon Con. I'll tell you guys off air, and said, you know what? Just look at Rock God Podcasting. You'll find him. He'll talk to you about putting you on panels. and it's not wrong because they found me. So thank you, Tyra Devo, for joining us tonight. And bye.
Follow these nerdy dads on social media. Charles at Rock God of Podcasting. Joe at Joseph_Ard. Check out the website, wiseandnerdy.com. And as always, they may not be your father, but they'll always be your dad.
Shut up, Mike.
That's right. Shut up, Mike. Thank you, Force Ghost Kurt.
Worst dad joke ever.